You hear me? Hello, everybody. I'm back. Sorry, I realized the starting soon was off screen, which is such a strange... What a strange feature. Let me go ahead and take you into the new room. I've taken you to restaurants. I've taken you to a cafe in space. I want this to be more scholarly. This is meant to be a place of learning, and I want you all to learn with me. So today, I've brought you to my favorite little auditorium. Allow me to actually make sure Pixel's a part of it, part of my world. Here you go. Oh, there you are. Oh, geez, it's always so big. There we go. Perfect. I'm a little off screen because I don't draw the bottom half of anybody. I'd just rather be a top half talking head character. It's cozy. But allow me to give you your dues and intro. Also, let me turn the music. Also, I'm talking... A billion things can go wrong. Hello, everybody. I'm actually unmuted now, and I've also unmuted the guest. Isn't that really sweet?
It's great.
Allow me to turn off the cozy jams. Allow me to introduce you in. I wanted the elbow patches on this character because it's a little more scholarly, like I said, in the muted time that you don't know about, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can spill my heart out. I won't go back over it. Welcome to the Foxhole episode 4. I have a very special guest with me. I want to let them give their own little introduction. So please help me in giving a heartfelt welcome to our guest, PixelKittenVT. Sorry to use your government name. Welcome in.
Oh, it's okay. PixelKitten's fine. PixelKitten's fine.
So give us a little a rundown about who you are and what you do.
Well, hello, everyone. As Foxy said, I'm Pixel Kitten. Put the VT at the end there. There's a lot of Pixel Kittens apparently out there, but there is one and only me. I am your friendly AI streamer cat girl. And really, I just do like a variety of games, and I enjoy playing a variety of games and chatting and meeting new people and whatnot. And that's just kind of what we do. We can just cause chaos and have lots of fun doing it. Pretty simple.
We love to hear that because, I'm a chaotic little goblin myself with all my gold and such.
Excellent.
So it's fantastic to have a bird of a feather here. So without further ado, let's sink into it. I started this series to kind of understand my own field a little bit better because I feel like I kind of started out of the loop and I'm spending every day trying to figure out what is going on. So
Right.
Let's get into it. I want to what kind of got you into VTubing specifically? It's a strange little niche that's popped off and set its roots into streaming. What drew you to it?
Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, I don't want to say that I stumbled on it by accident per se, but so it technically started when my family kind of relocated out into the middle of the boondocks because I'm actually a theater nerd under all of this. And unfortunately out here, there isn't really a theater outlet. And over time, I've just been like looking for other ways to just kind of be able to express myself that way. And honestly, that's kind of what drew me to VTubing because it's me, but it's also technically a character. So I really enjoy being able to bring it to life, and it just kind of appeals to that need, if you will, to be able to do that sort of thing. And that's really what drew me to it because basically like the sky's the limit. You can do whatever, and that's kind of what drew me to VTubing. And it's been a wild ride. I've really loved it. It's been so much fun.
That's interesting to hear enough because I've talked to a couple people up to this point, and people have different feelings about it. Whether it's like I'd prefer this versus flesh tubing because I don't want to kind of put my own my being tied to this specific thing. But hearing that this was like a specific outlet and allow me to say welcome in, theater kid. You found your flock.
I did.
I did my own little, as we heard a couple episodes ago, I had my own little foray with theater myself, and boy, oh boy, it was something else. I did collegiate theater, and that's just a brand of
that's interesting
within itself.
Yeah.
So, but before I even get into the other stuff, I just love hearing people's theater business. My personal business with theater is like having intense lows. Did you ever have like a theater moment where you're like, wow, that was a tough one, like a play or specifically like that, like a performance?
Well, honestly, I think, oh gosh, that's a tough one. I want to say probably one of the most challenging was when I was in a production of a little known musical called The Fantastics.
Mm.
I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, I had a lot of fun. The play itself is amazing and it's so much fun. But it was my first time actually being cast in an actual lead part. And the fact that, well, I mean, I've been supporting parts, but it was like my first time being like, oh my gosh. I don't know. And I as my followers will tell you, I actually am incredibly self-conscious of my singing voice. So that didn't really help, but and unfortunately the role that I was playing technically was a higher register than where my actual, like, because I'm a mezzo soprano. And the part was actually like the lyric soprano, which is of course the stratosphere. So that was really a struggle. I enjoyed it. It was, oh my gosh, it was so much fun, but it was probably like the hardest part that I've ever actually played. I'm trying to remember the character's name, but it is escaping me at the moment. But yeah, but it was great. It was awesome. It was definitely an experience that has stuck with me for sure.
Yeah, musical theater is a different breed altogether, because I skip musical theater. I remember specifically my one of our college directors, I guess, they wanted to do the musical adaptation of Jekyll and Hyde, and I remember we were sitting there and we were doing a different production that was not a musical, and that's a whole story in and of itself. But he was sitting there and he was like, yeah, I was thinking about doing Jekyll and Hyde next semester, but none of y'all can sing, so it's canceled. I was like, wow, dude, okay.
Like, wow, thanks,
I guess. I was like, I wasn't going to try, but now I'm just hurt for no reason. I don't know what that was about.
Stab me in the feels like that. Oh, man.
Like, what was that about? And with theater, something that it taught me, it's something that makes it easier when I come to like something that I don't have my face to, is just my voice on the internet, is that I remember specifically plenty of times I was in a couple of comedies, and I love
comedies.
It's really so much fun, and it really helped me get like out there, be a little more expressive as a person. But man, did I have some times where like it just felt like you're performing to like just a silent audience, like all of the jokes fall onto.
Oh yeah. That is always a struggle, though, because when it comes to live theater, it really is a two-way street. Like, if you just have a bad audience, I mean, you could tell. And then when you have a really good audience, there's nothing like it. It's such an amazing feeling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because when you could tell the audience is enjoying it, it just feeds into it, you know? And
I love, like, there have been times where I remember specifically the first play I ever did, and this was a good experience. The first play I had done went over really well with the audience. The second play I did, I'm not even saying it's like the audience's fault. I think the play was just doomed to kind of be in that realm where it was maybe not as thought out as it could have been, and when we went live, it was like it wasn't just like the wrong audience, it just fell flat. And like it kind of helps you grow as a person to bomb, and I bombed hard.
Aw.
like being on stage, because it was like something I was like, oh, it's my second play and I'm gonna try out new things, and like those things that I did too, like I could see the stuff that I did just like go to like a silent audience and they're like right? And you're like, oh, good grief. I remember my family sitting in on her performance, and they're just, I could see their worried faces like, oh goodness.
Oh no.
So I was curious if you had the displeasure of kind of being greeted with any of that at your time in theater.
I would have to say that the most horrific moment on stage that I've ever had was actually during Romeo and Juliet. And I was playing the narrator. And the issue with the narrator is they are the only one on stage. You have no one to play off of. And you're talking directly to the audience. And it was awful. And I went up on one of my lines. And I had no one on stage to rescue me. So I was like, oh no. And what was really irritating, I got so mad at myself because it was a line that I knew. And for whatever reason, when I got up on stage and I started like opening my mouth, all of a sudden the line was gone. And you can't call line because you're like, oh, this is a performance. You can't do that.
This is live, yeah.
But oh my gosh, yeah, that was probably like the most horrific moment on in a play. And what was really irritating is they did finally get someone on stage to help me like get off the stage. But afterwards, I remember I stepped off stage, and as soon as I was backstage, I recited my line perfectly fine.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? What's happening here?
Those are the worst too. It's something, yeah. It's like you get on stage and something like strikes you every once in a while. I remember I had a different kind of moment in my first play where my introduction as a character. I'm kind of in the middle, being a little scoundrel, right? And I'm just posing and such, and these other characters are supposed to like bounce off of me with like their descriptions of my character, and I'm supposed to like reply, and they they like they broke character a little bit and couldn't recover, so they left the stage, and I was there like I had to like improv something to be like what happened is the narrator of the specific play looked back at me and like made a joke like that kind of put me under but brought the play back up, and I just had to like walk off the stage and like in character and be like, oh, and luckily it went off well, but everybody was like, who was that guy? Is that just some guy on the stage? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that was just a random guy. I don't even go here. And it was, yeah, I mean, of course, you know, as I got more comfortable, because that was literally only like my second Shakespeare play ever was Romeo and Juliet. So I wasn't comfortable in the Shakespearean, I'm going to use the word genre because I can't think of the proper word that I'm trying to find here. To improvise, you know, because Shakespeare had a very specific way of using words, and you know, so
right.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember that was really early on in my foray, if you will, into acting. So it was definitely difficult to just kind of improv that at the time, but I eventually got better, and yeah.
Yeah,
my favorites are always comedies. I love comedies because it's easier to improv, I feel, during a comedy.
Oh, absolutely. I think so too. There's something like you can kind of put your own little spirit into it, and like
right, exactly.
And if something's kind of tossed in the air where you have to recover, you can kind of get in character and kind of dig your way out and still be funny while doing it. So like
exactly.
I do love it as well, especially like when it's a modernized like comedy. Then you could just be. It's not as hard to just be. You know what I mean? Be you, and then take it somewhere that needs to be.
The character, if you will.
And you know, now that we're on the theater pipeline, I suppose. Do you think? I know you said the transition. You being here because of theater, do you think you take your, I guess, your skill set from being a theater kid overall into this space? because I feel like theatrics, I suppose.
Right.
I feel like coming here, I guess I like to do more of. I try to put on a performance in my little bit. It doesn't always work, but I was curious if you've brought that over in your own way to your own streams.
Right. I'm sorry. I feel like I missed a question there.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying.
Okay.
I was just wondering if being a theater kid has it helped you transition into this space.
Gotcha. Honestly, I think it has helped to a degree, because since I'm already comfortable, like, talking to people that I don't know and speaking in front of like an audience type thing. And I've done a lot of, it hasn't just been theater. I've done a lot of other kinds of performing. Like I've done, like actual like choir musical type performances. And I also used to play the violin, and, so I've done lots of performing. But I definitely feel like switching it over to this kind of VTubing kind of space is, I would say that the main thing is being comfortable in your skin, I guess you could say, to a point where you're confident and comfortable with expressing yourself. I mean, it doesn't always work for me because, well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that it doesn't always work for me. What I should say is, it doesn't always work out as well as I would like, mainly because just who I am as a person. Sometimes I struggle with focus and whatnot. I'm basically undiagnosed ADHD. So without a script, you're basically improvising the entire time. So for the most part, I just kind of be myself, but I would definitely say that the background in theater helps be able to be comfortable just, doing what you do and trying to be at least somewhat entertaining.
I understood that. It's the kind of the stream of conscious speak that a lot of us do at this point in time. It's kind of something that you have to build on as you're streaming, because like you stream for perhaps 4+ hours, called the median, and there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space to talk, and I'm like, do I talk about my day? Do I, what do I talk about with you guys? I don't know. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to talk about? What'd you eat? Like, it's
funny. Yeah, it's funny because my parents, I swear I hear this all the time. My parents always tell me, it's like, oh, you have the gift of gab, and I can literally spend forever talking about absolutely nothing.
I love it, because I feel like it's for me, I consider it my brain rot helps me transition and just leak out thoughts, because I'm like, today I was at Burger King, you know what I mean? Like, there's just something comes out while I'm playing, and then I'll let out like a very joyous orangutan laugh, and then hope people people care about it, and sometimes it works, perhaps. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I suppose I should ask you a couple more questions to also be in this video.
Like I said, yeah, you got to be careful with me, because I will take a topic and I'll just run with it, and we'll like waste an hour and be like, oh, were we supposed to be asking questions?
Trust me, that's ideal. Perfect. It is absolutely ideal. But I feel like I have to keep myself accountable, I suppose. So when it comes to VTubing, did you have any, I guess, inspirations? For me, it's a little bit strange, but, a lot of people have different kind of takes on what made them want to, be this person instead of them like a fleshy.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, that is definitely an interesting question. And to be totally honest, I'm not sure if I really have a great answer. Basically, I was just kind of like, okay, well, I figured it would probably be better to do the VTuber side than like a fleshy side, I mean, there's also some stuff that I really would like to do. I'd like to be able to be a little bit more interactive and whatnot. But like I said, I kind of feel like with the VTubing side of things, like I but it's easier to I don't want to say separate, but I guess separate, yeah, because then it's not just me, if that makes sense. Because if you're, doing yourself, like a lot of streamers, they have their cameras going and whatnot. I just kind of feel like this is for me a theater kind of outlet, that it was important for me to have a character, if that makes sense. It is technically me, but it's still a character.
Right.
As far as inspiration goes, I don't know. Inspiration, I don't know. Well, I do like cats. I have 2 cats. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm not sure where. I guess you could say my inspiration might have come from my cats, I suppose. I don't know. The animals in general, I love animals. So I knew that I wanted my model to have some sort of animalistic aspect. And I don't know. I guess I just fell on cat because, I don't know. Who doesn't love cats?
I think that's it is a completely fair answer, because I kind of I had a similar introduction for myself into PNG tubing. I guess I haven't really gone into the rest yet. Working on it, but for me, when I wrote down
baby steps,
yeah,
one step at a time, one step at a time.
I'm toddling my way to the top, I tell you. But I kind of just vision boarded at one point where I was like, okay, who do I like on Twitch specifically, since I'm gonna want to do something there, and I like a lot of VTubers now, but at the time, I don't think I had a VTuber that I had referenced on that list. So for me to be like, I want to be a VTuber was really strange. And it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to masquerade myself. I was just like, I think it's a really cool art form.
It really is. It's been amazing.
And I just want to have my fingerprint in it in some way. I don't know what it'll look like. Maybe it'll be a smudge, but just to be a part of it is interesting. So I find solace knowing that you kind of approached it in a similar way, because
I actually sometimes I kind of feel like, I don't want to say that I don't know really a good way to put it. I actually didn't know anything really about the VTubing community and VTubing in general until I just kind of jumped into it. So I don't know, that I tend to do that. I see something, it's like, oh, that looks like fun. Let's just get into it. Any sort of thing that I do, like if it's a hobby or whatever, I'll be like, oh, that looks interesting. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was definitely the type of kid that was like, I want to ride horses, and they'll be like, okay, we can figure that out. And then it just kind of came to a point where it's like, I want to be online, and then I started doing my thing online, and in my case, I happened upon the Zeltos, and he was like, we could try to figure some of this out together. And I was like, sick, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So Zeltos has kind of helped me refine this from being I'm just going to go online and see what happens, to something a little more focused, and trying to see it grow from there. So that's kind of nice, and kind of brings me into my very specific line of questioning for you, because I feel like you have not necessarily a parallel experience to mine, but I want to talk about your network specifically, because I think you've got a cool little network behind you that I feel like I want to talk about as
absolutely. Well. I was actually going to say, because it was interesting that you were saying that. I was like, because honestly, when I started venturing into the VTuber, that's actually kind of how I met Thor Najal. Thor was kind of that for me, because I reached out to him to make my model, because he's like, oh yeah, I do 3D models. I'm like, oh cool, well let's do this. And so we collaborated, and we actually became pretty tight friends, I would say. And he's one of my moderators. He was my first moderator. And honestly, it's funny. We have a joke in the community that it's really Thor who's the power behind all this. Thor's the one who keeps this going. He's the glue that holds everything together. But yeah, So I'd say that he's a pretty strong network, but honestly, I kind of feel like my whole entire community, we're all in this together. Like this is our baby, you know, and it just keeps growing. And I don't know, I say it all the time. I really do have like the most amazing community. Everyone in my community is amazing, and I love them so much. I've also really appreciated meeting other VTubers, because I feel like I have a lot of really good VTuber friends, and they've been like a huge help with things as well, and getting to know them better. And it's just been, I don't know, I think I've just been really lucky with the people that I've been able to meet, and seriously blessed. It's been so amazing. Because I mean, honestly, you know, sometimes I mean, it's the internet, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the internet can definitely be a scary place. But honestly, I really feel like I've just been blessed with amazing people behind me and surrounding me, and it's just been really amazing. And I've loved every single minute of it. I love it so much. But that's kind of how it started, was just with me and Thor, and it's just kind of grown from there.
Yeah, I'll come back to Thor. You listening, Thor? I'll come back to you, but because I have some
coming for you, Thor.
I've got some interesting questions regarding that, because you know, some people might have, you know, situations more akin to our situation, where we have somebody that also helps and powers what we do. But I'll come back to that, so you sit tight. But but talking about your VTuber friends and network, because you know, I've talked to the gang, I've talked to Spunky Phil, you know, Vaughn.
Oh, yes.
I've talked to the fellas, and I was curious, how did you get wrapped up in there? How did you get trapped, so to speak?
Actually, you know, that's actually a pretty fun story. I say honestly, okay, so it all started. It all started with this super random collab that we all did, called we all got together and played Among Us. And that was when I met a whole bunch of them. And honestly, that's really how it happened, to be honest with you. That was my very first collab. I'd never done a collab before. I had never played Among Us before. I only knew one of the people. It was the person who invited me. Was the only person that I knew in the entire group. And we just kind of got together, and we all sort of just clicked. Like, we had just such a great time together. And then it just kind of went from there. And I would definitely say, I mean, and a lot of them, I know a couple of them have been like, guys, that's where it really started for me, was that one collab. And I think that's really how that whole thing worked. And I learned then that I really like collabs. Collabing is so much fun, because that's when you really get to like know people, because you get to like hang out and actually like play together. And we've done other collabs together, doing other things, like we played Pico Park together. And it's but that's honestly where it all started, to be completely honest.
Can I ask just for my own curiosity, was the person that invited you to Among Us, was that Spunky?
You know what? To be honest, I don't remember, but I think so. Thor, do you remember who that was?
Because I have this.
It was so long ago, I don't remember anymore.
Because I have this, I talked to Vaughn the other day, and we were talking about how we just happened upon Spunky, and Spunky kind of introduced us into this realm, and I'm like, is Spunky like the godfather of this particular VTubing community?
Thor says it was Mochi.
Mochi. Oh, okay. Mochi? Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha.
It was Mochi. Yeah, she's the one who invited me to that collab. Okay. So it did. And then honestly, and I don't know what I did. I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. Oh, their weirdness corresponds with my weirdness, and I love it so much.
Oh yeah, I adore those guys, and oh man,
oh yeah,
talking to them is a trip. I love having them, and the fact that they wanted to come on. It's such a colorful cast, all with
I know,
super different. Like, even though they come together and do their thing, just having talked to just a few different views for like what they want to do personally. So like and their goals, especially like talking to Vaughn last time. Vaughn has a very unique path that he wants to go down, and like what kind of brand he wants going forwards. And it's like, man, seeing how he fits into the group is super duper interesting.
Oh yeah, Vaughn's great.
I love him. He's got a nice little thing going. Love his he's got a cozy voice. Allow me to
he does, doesn't he?
I love it. I think I made him blush. I think I talked about it too much when he was on, but I'll say it again. I love it. Quick random shout out. Zeltos, put that out there in the ether, please. Vaughn
random. Hey, Vaughn.
He's gonna get a tag in his OPS like, why was Foxy talking about me tonight on March 22nd? Yeah, this is a secret club, and I'm not gonna timestamp it, so you'll have to figure that out, buddy. Right. But yeah, I was always curious. It's like I'm unraveling this VTube underground every time I talk to somebody in this group. I'm like, where'd you come from? Where did it start? Who was the beginning?
Where did it start? And I'm pretty sure we've all pretty much said the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, we all met during this One Among Us collab, and that's just kind of where our friendship sprouted.
And how long ago was that Among Us collab?
Oh my gosh, how long ago was that? It was. Like I said, it was my very first collab, so it was within, I would say, the first 2-3 months, maybe, of my collabing. Oh, actually, hold on. Hold that thought. I think I still have that group. Here. Yeah. When was this? Does it tell me when it was done? I'm just curious. Okay, so that was August. Oh, no. That's the most recent one. Forgive me. July of last year.
That's a funny feeling, because that predates my first stream. So that's
nice.
That's like, wow, I feel like an infant in this world now that I'm getting to carbon date it. But I knew that this particular, I hate to talk about you like you're not here. This particular group of people were around a little bit before me, but to hear that, it's like, wow, that's a strange one. I feel behind the curve now. But
no such thing.
Yeah, no, we're all at our own pace. But no, that's always interesting to hear, because like the reason I'm introduced to this group is just because of a raid that Zeltos he suggested. He's like, how about this person? I was like, okay, who's I haven't heard of Cyberspunky, but let's go ahead and hop over, and
let's do it.
We did, and that's just it was strange, because like at first it was just a normal like, hey, thanks Foxy for the raid, and then one day out of nowhere, like we didn't really talk. I jumped into a couple streams, I kind of chatted a little bit. I didn't really think too much about it. It's like, I enjoy these streams, so I'll just have that on my people that I watch, and one day I was drawing, and then Spunky rated me with a lot more people that I had seen, and my eyes widened, and I started to salivate, and I said, what? And then Spunky and Phil started gifting subs, and I about passed out, and I was like, and I was just drawing, and I had all these people, and we just kind of started from there. And when I started the Foxhole, I was like, I want to start a thing. And then I hadn't interacted with Fel at all. I knew Fel because Spunky came in with Fel that day, and then Zeltos messaged me one day. He's like, Fel said she'll do it, and I was like, huh? Really? I don't even think she knows me. And then it just kind of went from there. So I similar position to you. I've been very, very fortunate to meet the people I have up to this point.
Oh yeah, and they're so generous and so sweet. Like I love them to itty bitty little pieces. I can't, like, now that I've gotten into this and gotten to really know them, I really couldn't imagine my life without them,
Oh, absolutely. I feel I would not be whole, you know what I mean, with that
exactly.
community. Even though like I'm I've got my own thing, but just without their presence, I feel lonely, because I get to pop in, even though You know, I might not be in the same course at the same time, but just getting to see them, and like I say this about everybody that comes on here, I'm always super stoked to see kind of what their projection is like moving forwards and seeing them grow, of course.
Right.
And it's just so cool.
I mean, because they do. I mean, I of course I say this about everyone. Everyone deserves to be able to grow and have all the amazing things, you know.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
have all the amazing things. Everyone, you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve to be happy and have your audience and not be cyberbullied, first of all.
Yes, exactly.
Into submission. I've seen a fair share of naughty Nathans on the internet, and they don't make me very happy. But you know, it's the internet, right? You can't help it.
It is. And that sort of thing. You just kind of have to let, you know, you can't. I mean, I can't. I don't really have motion in my shoulders, but I'm like, you just gotta let it slide off the shoulders, you know. They actually say a lot of VTubers say that, you know, you're succeeding when you start getting people behaving like that, you know. Once you start getting haters, you're succeeding. So you're doing something right.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get that kind of traction, then you're like, okay, I'm in a different ball game now.
I can call myself a success now.
And you know, have you ever found that, like, I don't know specifically if you've ever had a stream where, you know, a couple of those fellas might pass through and kind of cause a little bit of a muck. I've had a couple streams where I've come off and I've felt pretty down because of something like that. I'm curious how you decompress or kind of shake it off truly, like, and then come back to the next stream and just, you know, it is what it is, right? If you have any strategies yourself.
You know, honestly, this is going to sound weird, but honestly, I actually developed that skill at a pretty young age. I don't know. I guess I just decided, because I used to get bullied a lot, actually, in person, like to my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I guess being able to cope with that in real life helps with the internet. It's different, obviously, because, you know, you can't actually face the person who's being mean to you. But honestly, just knowing that there's people, like, my support group is there for me, and that they actually, you know, they're like, no, you're awesome. And having folks who love me, and I think that helps. But decompressing, honestly, I don't know. I honestly, I always look forward to the next stream, because for every detractor, you have at least, and this is true for everyone, okay, I'm just going to say it. For every one detractor, you have at least 5 people who are cheering you on. And just keeping that in mind is super helpful. I don't know. I guess that's really just the thing, is the support. I will say that there have definitely been some times. Oh gosh. So I did this sing stream that I wasn't exactly happy with. I was really upset and disappointed with it, because I suffer from allergies and it affects my singing voice and, you know, whatever. But and honestly, I turned to some of my folks. They reached out, and I was like, oh, it'll be okay. And just knowing that they still enjoyed themselves and they still were here, it helped a lot. So I think having a really strong support group is really important to be able to bounce back from something like that. And that's who I come for. You come for the people who want to see you, want to talk to you, want to hang out, want to have fun.
I'm super fortunate to have, like I said, Zeltos is like a superhero for the Foxy program, because, like, sometimes he's like a part-time therapist. Sometimes, like, I'll get off stream. I've had moments where I've gotten off stream, and it's like he could tell. Like, he'll message me personally. He'll be like, "How was today, bud?" You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, "It wasn't good." He's like,
"It wasn't good. It was really bad.
It wasn't fun." And he's like, "Well, what didn't you like about it?" And then we'll just talk. And, like, I adore him for being able to have, like, that sixth sense when it comes to me, because, like, he nobody is obligated to at the end of the day, but it's really, really awesome to have people to want to do that. So like,
right.
Exactly
I
as
will
you
say,
said.
again, circling back, circles, so everything circles. I probably say that Thor is one of my big ones. So like if something doesn't go right, I know that I can be like, Thor, oh, that didn't go great. And then he'll be like, and kind of like with Zeal for You, you know, just kind of, oh my gosh, hold on, sorry, I have a sound alert going on. Hold on.
That's all right.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I think oh, it was a raid. Oh, hi, Sephi. Sorry, I got raided.
No, the more the merrier.
The more the merrier. Hello, Sephi. Hello, Raiders. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh, hi, Rito. I didn't mention you by name, but I was heavily implying you, by the way, Rito. Rito's another one of my VTuber friends that I met like early on. Love you, Rito. I'm gonna shout you out.
He deserves it. I'm familiar with.
Oh, deserves it 100%.
I'm familiar myself. I should say I've been party to a couple Rito streams, so allow me to not to stroke stroke my own ego or anything like that.
Right. And it's interesting because Rito, if there's like a collab that I want to do, honestly, Rito's probably one of the first people I think I was like, oh, hey, Rito, you want to come do this with me? And he'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. And so I don't know. It's just lots of fun. Oh
yeah. It's like you said, having a support group on the internet. I mean, first of all, I'll say this before I'm like, my internet support group could do it without it. There are like other ways I look at it as well when it comes to like internet negativity. And ultimately, I'm like, if somebody comes into your chat and they're like being naughty and rude, right, odds are they're probably not going to be back. And if they are,
probably not.
You occupy a large space in their mind for some reason, and you can take a small victory out of that.
Right, exactly.
And then deal with them appropriately.
Right. And honestly, I kind of feel like I just have amazing mods. I have two, like I said, Thor, it was my first mod. And then I have Mark Moonfang as another of my mods, and someone else who I feel like I've gotten pretty close to during all this. And they're so good at moderating chat and making sure that it stays, because I'm a seiso streamer. So they're really good at, I don't want to say policing, but but like, making sure that the chat stays set to the rules and whatnot. So I also think that having some really good moderators is also like really, really important. And I mean, it's funny, I kind of feel like I have a different mod relationship than a lot of other VTubers. I don't know, because I kind of feel like I am actually friends with my moderators.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, but yeah, having both of them is awesome. And I kind of feel like also whenever like my VTuber friends come along, I feel like they also are like, yeah, no, you have to know, guys, you need to they'll sick Thor or Mark or something. And be like, it's like, sick them, guys. And it's just kind of, it's just amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's get some, since I'm masquerading as somebody that's putting knowledge out into the universe, I guess I should go ahead and get our vocabulary down, because it is something I've seen passed around, and I didn't necessarily touch on it with Vaughn, so I guess we'll go ahead and do it now.
Why not?
So, can you give me a little bit of a quick definition as to what being a seiso streamer is, or just seiso?
Oh, seiso. Basically, it means wholesome.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with like lewd tubers and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, pardon me, I had to cough. Basically, it just means that no profanity. I try to make sure that we don't use a whole lot of adult language, that sort of thing. And basically, because when I went into this, I knew that I wanted to create a space that was, I'm going to use the word safe. if that makes sense. I wanted people to be able to feel comfortable, to be able to feel like they were accepted and that they could come and just be themselves. And I kind of feel like separating from that sort of stuff helps create that sort of environment. Because I knew that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, not even suggestive topics. Yeah, sorry. Mark put that in the chat. So, and also I don't know, it just keeps all that to the side. People can come, spend time, goof off, watch me play a game and be ridiculous, and they can forget about that stuff. You know what I mean? And my main goal, if you will, is just to spread as much love and positivity as I can. And I really feel like having a say-so, if you will, a say-so environment is a way to really be able to optimize that, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. And this is a very perfect timing. Vaughn raided in. Welcome in, Vaughn and party.
Hi. We were talking about you.
Yeah, we had a brief moment when we talked about you. I'm sure you got the shout out and you're like, who's talking about me right now?
What? Well, I guess we're going to go raid Foxy.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you here. We were just kind of, we had a brief moment where we were fangirling over you, so no problem. Don't think about it too much.
We fangirled over you, Vaughn. We sure did.
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell you what we said. That you'll just live with it. But thank you so much for the raid. Not to draw too much attention from the show at hand, but I wanted to
right. Let's go. Hello, Vaughn.
Yeah, exactly. Give you a little kiss on the forehead. Thank you. Have a seat. Get cozy. Snuggle up.
Get comfy.
Absolutely. Now, I'm curious because this is such a hard part for me when it comes to streaming. I just want to stream and not think about it too much at the end of the day. Do you personally have an approach to like branding yourself, your channel, getting yourself out to the world? How do you approach branding, if you do, or if you're just a streamer? Kind of like how I approach it. That's also fine as well. Just curious how you approach it.
I mean, actually, to be totally honest with you, at first, I didn't really have that sort of like a future sight on actually like quote unquote branding myself. But I don't know, as I've gotten more comfortable, we have branched out a bit. And it's actually interesting because today I actually have some merch that's gone live. So I have some fun, like, well, it's going to expand. I'm going to expand it. It's literally just starting, but I eventually intend to add to it where it's like fun community, like nuggets, you know? So I would say that, when it comes to branding myself, I kind of feel like, it's kind of organic, like it's kind of happening on its own. You know what I mean? It's like I've started this thing and then it's just growing and growing. And this currently, I don't know, is it my chibi that's on your PNG React? Is it my little
Yes,
it's my little chibi, isn't it? Yeah. So what my little chibi is wearing my original outfit, and I'm wearing it right now, is my original outfit. And this kind of turned out to be like my main colors, like this pink and blue and purple and whatnot. So, and of course, yellow is like my favorite color. So I kind of like incorporate that sort of stuff. So I do a lot of colors, a lot of like expression like that when it comes to quote unquote branding, you know. But I don't know if I've actually like, I kind of feel like I've only just started to dip my toe in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but I'm excited though. I'm so excited about it. Like I don't know. It's all exciting, and I'm a very big person who's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited! I'm gonna be crazy and do all the things. But yeah, I do feel like that I'm kind of starting to come into my own, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I feel this, and that could be kind of where I'm at too. I don't really know, like I say branding. I know that's a little kind of
yeah, that's what I'm like using like air quotes branding.
Yeah, I mean like kind of like advertising yourself. I try not to be so like business about it because like I think it is more of a person to person connection that we get to. We're fortunate enough to make on this kind of platform. But always curious how you reach those people because like I said, I feel like it's been a series of just lucky events for me to be able to meet certain people or somehow a stream gain some traction, what have you. I haven't really done anything outside of that too significant like on any other platform. I don't know if anybody really approaches it differently, barring huge,
I definitely feel like, because I need to do it better. I'm not diving into the social media side of things. I'm still trying to work at. That's one of my quote unquote resolutions, if you will. I really want to get better at being more interactive and being more present on the social media platforms, because I have like Twitter, I have Truth, I'm on lots of different like social media type platforms, and I do feel like that helps. The networking side helps a bit, but honestly, I don't know if I'm with you though. I don't know if I actually like do true advertising. I just go, hey guys, and I'll just kind of like try to keep things interactive and be like, hey, talk to me. Hey, let's chat. Hey, let's hang out, So that's usually my general approach to things like that. Because I don't know, I on the one hand, it's true if you really want to get like, if you really want to make VTubing more than just like a hobby, I'm sure some people feel pressured to sound more like a salesman. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't really, I'm trying to stay away from that personally. Not like crazy much, but just kind of, because I did have a sponsor, and every now and then, like Thor or Mark or someone will come up with like a little like script or something for me to like read during the stream to kind of promote it. And but that sort of thing, I feel like I'm not quite so good at yet. But we'll get there. I'm working on it.
I know what you mean. I've strayed away from like certain opportunities like that. It's like if it's like it doesn't really matter what it is, because I know that like I don't know if I'd be able to do it justice at this kind of juncture in my online career. I'd probably like acknowledge it. I'd have overlays or whatever, and then I'd be like, yeah, that's a thing. Whatever.
Right.
Back to what I was doing.
Oh yeah, I guess I could do that.
So yeah, I know what you mean. That's definitely kind of a muscle I need to work out moving forwards as well. So
yeah.
As I mentioned before, we're squirming back. Thor, you're not off the hook. I didn't forget.
He hasn't forgotten you.
We're getting back to it because like I said, I was super duper like Thor. Showed up in my chat the other day. Drat. Yeah, and we had a nice little conversation. I got to kind of know what Thor does, kind of personally, and what his relation to your channel is. And I was just like, oh man, that's super cool. And then it kind of like a light bulb went off, and I was like, hey, Zeltos is my Thor, and some people might want to have kind of a relationship like that when they have like an online kind of thing. So to kind of talk about it openly would be, I think, beneficial just for like an ongoing catalog of things. So I'm curious, like with Thor at this point in time, I'll kind of get into your future projections, but for Zeltos, when I think of the channel growing, just kind of in the future, not necessarily making a concerted effort to be anywhere at any given time, Zeltos is kind of like inseparable from my online identity, I think. Like just due to where I'm at personally with work constraints and such. Zeltos is like when people are like, oh, I'm in the Foxy area right now because of Zeltos. I communicated with Zeltos. Zeltos is that guy for me. And even when I think I'll have a clearer schedule in the future, I'd always want Zeltos to be part of the process, and I wouldn't want to separate him from that and growing. I'm curious, like when you think of your channel, growing in the future, which I know it will. I'm not concerned about that. But when it grows in the future, I'm curious what your thoughts about like having somebody else's, identity in that channel, how you want to kind of go about that, since, Thor, like you said, is kind of with you in that same point too. What does growing with another person on your tagline look like for you?
Well, honestly, I mean, Thor will probably disagree with this, but I honestly, I'm with you. I really can't imagine this channel, this being a success at all without Thor. So I definitely feel like he's going to be coming along with me if he's willing, and unless he, finds some other, unless he decides to suddenly leave me.
Yeah.
But no, definitely. I do like to make sure, because, sometimes I'll check in with him and be like, so, hey, as far as growth goes, like, is this, are you comfortable with this? Or like, do you have any insight on this? And, I he's kind of like my sensei, and so, and especially if I don't know what in the world I'm doing, like he helped me switch, because I was using Streamlabs, and it was suggested to me to try OBS specifically. I believe it was Mark who did that, and I was like, okay, so Thor, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you help me? So, but honestly, because we do technically have like a business sort of situation. So like when he does like my model stuff, obviously I pay him for those services and whatnot. So we do technically have a business relationship. So when I succeed, obviously he's going to succeed, because he's stuck with me whether he likes it or not. But yeah, I definitely can't see a future without Thor being a part of it, for sure. Like I seriously wouldn't be here. Like seriously, I would not be here without him, because he literally made my model. So yeah, he's the model daddy. So and it's actually really funny because because a lot of VTubers, they have like lore.
Oh,
and, yeah, and that was the part of the VTubing that I never really considered. So I never really had like a lore hashed out. And to be totally honest, I kind of started like incorporating Thor into my actual lore of the character. So yeah, he's just kind of become just morphed into this whole thing,
That is really funny you say that, because like Zeltos helps me with the same thing. It's not something I considered. He's like, so do you, like when we were first talking and we first met, and he's like, so do you have like lore for Foxy and character? And I was like, I drew him.
Yeah, he's like, lore? What do you mean?
What do you mean? He's two images. I drew those myself, I think. And
exactly.
He's like, no, like there's a story. Do you want a story out there? What do you want from it? I'm like, I don't know. I want to be famous. But like,
right? Like what?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. And so like it's been a humongous help knowing for me, and I imagine you might be in a similar place considering like what Thor's background is with 3D modeling and such. Zeltos was like my foot in the door as to like what VTubers do, like actually, or like tubers do, and like I was doing some freeform jazz on the internet, and Zeltos is like, that's cool. Have you considered, I don't know, thinking about it? And like, I was like, yeah, maybe. So yeah, it's kind of, it's comforting to hear that.
Right. Yeah, I did. I had
thing.
like zero, because I was like, lore, because I saw a lot of it. It's like, oh, lore. I'm like, lore? What do you mean lore? I don't have lore. I'm just here. So, but yeah, I did. I haven't gotten it 100% hashed out. I think it would be fun to like really hash it out. but I just kind of like, okay, so this is like the bare bones of what I'm gonna go with. And yeah, it basically centers around Thor being the creator of everything.
You see, that was
So
I wanted to make sure I fit in a like a partner appreciation moment, because like
yeah, exactly. Much love, Thor. Much love. Mwah, for you too.
Zeltos put in there is like, they're hiding from the other side. What would the journey look like without Thor or Z? Well, let me tell you what would happen. I would have quit probably. I don't know.
It would have fallen apart very quickly.
I would have played. I don't know, probably Fall Guys for the 47th time, and I would have been like, "Welcome to my Let's Play," and then my mom would watch, and then it'd be over. So like,
right, and then it would be done,
and then the journey was done, and we could put some bookends on it. So
right, and be like, okay, that was an experience that I had.
So I've noticed, just being in, like, I have a bad habit with this, when like I get so caught up that I don't completely integrate with a lot of communities early. So like I just hopped in your Discord today to mingle and such, and I noticed right away Thor was, you know, pitching ideas, and the like the it was like the oh man, I forgot the name.
Whichever channel that is.
Yeah, the industry knowledge tab. That's what it was. And,
oh yeah.
And he was like immediately when I got in, I thought and I saw it as like, oh wow, there's a wealth of knowledge here, and that was.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Like Thor, Mark, that like there's been a lot of people who've been contributing to that particular channel, and it's awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I've been meaning to also, because it's my Discord, but I will, well, because I work a full-time job, and I probably have one of the worst shifts ever. So it can make it, yeah, and it's a very physical job, so it can make it difficult sometimes to do as much of the actual interacting on Discord and whatnot that I would like to do. But it really is like, and they've helped build it to be what it is. And I do really feel like it's a great place to like learn and gather all that knowledge and also have fun. We do have a lot of channels in there that we're like, oh, let's just have fun and be goofy. And since we're starting to get really into Final Fantasy 14, we also have several channels dedicated to that, because we're all in, well, several of us anyway are in the free company, and that's one of the ways that we communicate is through Discord and whatnot on what we want to do for those particular streams. But oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Of fun.
I noticed one of Thor's many talents and such. I know that your videos get edited and placed onto other platforms. I'm curious what your kind of handoff to Thor looks like at this moment. Do you give like creative direction, or is Thor just kind of like let loose? He gets into there and kind of puts the vision.
I feel like I actually feel comfortable with letting him have free reign, because he knows, because we've had conversations and he knows kind of what I'm looking for and how I want things to look. So I generally give him carte blanche, because I trust that he understands the quote unquote brand, if you will. He understands what I'm going for and how I want things to look and appear. And so, obviously, I'll kind of, we collaborate a lot. So I kind of feel like I don't even know what his family feels about me, but yeah, it's just funny because, we'll have like business conversations and whatnot. And, so that's generally how the handoff goes. It's like, okay, so here's the VOD and whatnot. And, currently he's pretty much the one that does it. To be honest, I've actually lately been kind of curious to like fiddle. I've been wanting to, like, hey, but I haven't had that conversation with him yet. It's like, hey, can you help me like fiddle a little bit? Because I want to learn. Because that's my thing. I tell people all the time, my hobby is collecting hobbies.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
To learn things. So yeah.
The reason I'm always so curious is because like editing is such a beast and a half, and I have like a whole I have a whole catalog on YouTube of like my first pass on giving it a try, and lucky for me, I have a friend who's working on his PhD, by the way, who just happens to get Adobe Premiere. He gets the Adobe suite. He's like, "Do you want a seat?" And it's like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? Of course I want a seat.
Show me. I want to know."
So hopefully that particular school doesn't bar me from using it, but until then, I'm gonna still use it. And
right.
So I've been able to use the Adobe suite because I wouldn't afford it on
that's cool.
my
That's
money
cool.
right now. But I could say that it's if again, I've plugged this before. If any of you want to go to my YouTube channel, currently it's blank. It looks blank. I have playlists of all my unlisted videos. It is disgusting.
Check it out.
It is just it's horrendous.
And most of the venturing that I've been doing on that, like with YouTube and Rumble and whatnot, is suggested and / fueled by Thor just saying, "Hey, maybe we should try this," and I'm usually like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Oh,
Teach me what I gotta do, and let's do it.
Yeah, I know what you like. Having a second person like have their eyes on like what's going on is so nice because like first of all, I'm horrible at keeping myself accountable for things. So like waking up in the morning to Zeltos being like, "Have you done that thing that you're supposed to do?" I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, and then I'm like, let me finish that for you, and then you know, and so having somebody that could do that and then also kind of add to the creative vision at the end of the day is so nice. So it's very cool to hear a testimony from a fellow tuber that's in kind of a similar situation, similar partnership. Because I know it is a partnership at this point in time for me, for sure. The amount of work that Zeltos is doing for me, I'm like, whoo-wee. He's got a big heart.
I know. Right, exactly. It has been though. It's definitely been a fun adventure, that's for sure.
Oh, it's some of my favorite memories come from just this, part of my life alone, which is, just saying being able to meet all these people has been very, very cool. Not to diminish my own IRL life or anything like that. It's just been a very cool experience. So I don't want to come across as a Melvin, guys. I'm cool. I promise. But yeah, it's I was just curious. Thor, you're effectively off the hook. You're no longer, I don't have you trapped. You can breathe. It's fine. I just wanted to know about you and what you got going on. That's all. So,
Yeah. So but yeah, that's kind of how that happened. And I kind of feel like I always feel like it's like I don't think I say it often enough though, is how much I appreciate his help and like basically everyone's help, but his in particular, because he's a beast, and he does a lot of the background stuff, and he likes to come up with new outfits, and we'll talk about that, and we'll be like, "So hey," and he'll be like, "Yeah, okay," and so I don't know. It just works, and I feel like I don't know. I think if it doesn't work, then it would all fall apart.
Oh yeah, I'm a Jenga tower at this point, and I'm always one pull away from
just
being on the ground.
A slight breeze will just topple it all down.
Oh yeah, and Zeltos is like a master. He's playing competitive Jenga. That's what he's doing right now, and he keeps me afloat. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Exactly. There's a reason why there's a blind pixel emote. Let's just say that. And there's the animated one that spins. Oh my goodness.
So back to the very scary topic of the future. The future, of course. But I'm curious, other than growing and just, continue chugging along, did you have a kind of I think we kind of mentioned it, but I kind of curious to dive a little bit deeper if you had any ideas as to what you wanted to be doing once you get to a certain point. Like if you look at the future, like this is what the Pixel Kitten channel looks like. This is what I'm doing. Is it, more of what you're doing now, just on a bigger scale, or is it you got some cool things you want to incorporate?
I definitely want to do. I mean, I really enjoy doing what I'm doing, but I definitely would love like improvements. Like there's certain ideas that we've been having of trying to make things a little bit more interactive with like my model and redeems and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And coming up with more ideas like that. I don't know. I mean, I get a lot of when I raid other streams, or if I'm like part of a raid of other streams of like some of the bigger VTubers, it's really inspiring to see like what they do and kind of like come up with certain ideas that I would like to do. But yeah, I think it would be fun to do a lot more, because technically my model is 100% rigged. I would just need like the equipment in order to actually get more motion going.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that sort of thing is something that would be fun. Just to kind of maybe dabble in, and who knows, it might not really be what, it might not be, but that's one thing that I think, that's going to be like future. But like I said before, we did just launch some merchandise, and I'm expanding since we're trying to make our way to partner. Obviously, that's a kind of obviously a goal that I think most of us have. But I am also expanding. I do like my clips, and I do some VODs when I put them on YouTube, and just kind of seeing how much we can stretch and grow just in general. But I definitely want to do a lot more interaction, doing maybe cycling through certain like maybe getting some more modes, because some folks have like different modes and whatnot. I think that would be fun. I'm trying to think of like short-term stuff. I have lots of long-term stuff, but I'm trying to think of short-term stuff. Gosh, I would definitely like to do more collabs. That's my thing, is I was like, oh my gosh, I would really love to do collabs. And then I forget to actually reach out to people and be like, hey, want a collab?
It's still like, even though I know people now, it's so scary to be like, hey, you want to do this thing
Oh,
with
dude,
me?
I have no problem bugging people. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't like bugging people. But I don't generally have an issue like reaching out, if that makes sense. Like I'm comfortable with reaching out. It's just, I'm just such a weird paradox. I don't like seeming like I'm bugging people, but I still also don't generally have an issue with being the first person to be like, hey, want to do something? It's just remembering, to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons. That's another reason I joke with Ora all the time. It's like, oh, you're my missing brain cell, kind of help me remember stuff.
No, I get that, because I am, if you press a button on my head, my face opens up and it's Zeltos piloting me, because I don't have a brain of my own. Like, if I were without Zeltos, I would I'm playing Sudoku. I'm writing down, I'm playing a word cross, eating oatmeal. So I know what you mean.
I get that so much.
Yeah.
And now I do know, like, there's been some interest in me doing my 1 year is coming up. Like I said, it's probably not July. It said like June or July, something like that, but my 1 year anniversary is coming up, so I've been trying to think of doing something special for that. I know some folks, I've had, it's like, oh, subathon, or 24-hour stream, and so I might attempt something like that, maybe. But unfortunately, as far as the 24-hour stream goes, I'd have to really finagle things and see if I can.
Oh yeah,
maybe work that out somehow.
Let me tell you, I'm a sleepy boy. I don't.
I love sleep.
I adore it.
I love sleep.
I get, what, if I don't hit my federally regulated 16 hours of sleep a day, I get cranky. So like, if
yes
like I'm on sometimes, you know, one time in the past, like I was doing a stream and I was sitting there and like you could feel the nuts and bolts start to fall off me while I was like streaming. And I was sitting there and I was like, I messaged Zeltos because we have this nice little thing where like when I'm ready to transition out to like effectively maximize who's going to be where for a raid and such, I'll message him a period of time before I go offline. He could search what we're going to raid. If it's somebody that we already have in our network, try somebody new. He pitched suggestions. I pick from there. We go out. And I sent him a message one time. It was not too far to the stream. I had just had like a long day. I was like, hey, I think I can't go much longer. He's like, can you go a little bit longer, dude? Like, like try a little. It was like we were playing, what's that game? We were playing Doki Doki Literature Club, and he's like, "You're like at a point that you shouldn't stop." So like,
don't stop. You got to keep going.
Consider it. So like, yeah, I
mean, I'm usually pretty strict. Well, I say that. Okay, so okay. Before they try to be like, okay, Pixel, I will say if I'm having fun, I will lose track of time, and that's why we have certain sound alerts because I do try to keep my streams at the 2-hour mark, partly because of my full-time job.
Yes.
With one of I literally my typical workday is 9 to 6, and it basically leaves like no time to do anything else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was like, okay, so I stream for a couple hours after work, and I mean, I would absolutely love to stream longer because I have so much fun with it. But unfortunately, for sleep purposes, so I can function, and also spending like having family time and whatnot too. You know, you kind of have to try to have a balance in there. And they're also really good at keeping me on my schedule too. They're really good at that. But yeah, so I do sometimes like to keep going, and sometimes they'll let me because, you know, like if I'm in the middle of a story point or something, because I play a lot of RPG kind of related games. So sometimes you do like story stuff and you're like, okay, well, we should probably keep this going for at least a little bit longer. But
yeah,
yeah,
I find myself there a lot. Because, like you said, that IRL job business, it's a bummer.
Oh man, it is tough. If I didn't have to work the full time, I wouldn't.
No, I would be out in an instant. And
absolutely.
It was I felt so bad because like Zeltos, like I said, Zeltos is usually my main line of communication coming up on these episodes and such, just due to my schedule being whack. And then I was like, and each time I finish an episode, I'm like, next time I'm going to be better about it. And then they'll be like, okay, you're going to work 2 to close the store, and then you're going to come back tomorrow at 7 a.m. And you're like, you guys suck, man.
That's the worst.
So like, yeah, I got a ton of those this past 2 weeks, and I've just been out of it.
That's
so
rough.
So you know,
my gosh,
honestly,
I've been there before.
I want to give a heartfelt apology that I'm a bad host when it comes to these coming up points. So thank you for hanging in tight. I really appreciate it.
No, this has been great. It's been great. I've really enjoyed myself. I was going to say, it's actually because, you know how you said earlier, just a little bit ago, about being overtired and how, like, you know, things start to fall apart. Honestly, for me, I tend to get more manic. I do. The more tired I get, well, depending on what the kind of tired, but the more tired I get, usually I call it slap happy. I just get like ridiculously giggly and it's ridiculous. And well, lately I've had allergies, so generally when I'm tired, I'm just like, oh my gosh, guys, I can't breathe. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But But yeah, it has been. It's been fun. I've enjoyed this. It's so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've taken a colossal amount of time, and I appreciate you.
Oh no, it's fine.
Hanging out with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and transition into like our final hallway of question, and we can give you a good little shout out of your stuff, and then we're gonna get going. We'll be on about our night, but let me get my my very professional memo pad on my phone real quick.
No worries.
It's really the last thing I say for pretty much everybody at some point in time, because we all had to overcome a hump when it came to like making the final step to like hit go live, whatever, right? So right. I'm curious, you know, if you could go back in time to maybe if you had this idea a little bit sooner than you actually finally got down and you're like, fine, I'll do it. But, you know, if you could go back in time, tell yourself, you know, here's what I'd do differently getting into where I am now. Would you take any different steps, or, you know, you're happy with with what you've done up to this point? You're more than welcome to be, of course. I'm just curious.
Right. Sure.
Where you come to, sorry.
To be totally honest, I will say that I am happy. I'm actually happy with what we've built together so far. I'm also happy with the fact that we've got a nice, I feel comfortable with like our growth, because I feel like it's genuine, and that's what I really love. I love that it's genuine, you know, and I don't know, I guess if there was something that I would do different is maybe I wouldn't have just leapt into it. Maybe I would have taken just like a teensy bit of time to really like look into it and maybe hash it out a little bit more before I like leapt into the deep end. But honestly, I don't know. I am happy. I'm really happy with where we are and in our journey here together, and I'm really looking forward to the future and what's going to happen later on down the road. And I hope that we can continue with the, what am I trying to say? With the connections, like the growth of the connections, and becoming like a family community, you know, like being friends and, you know, tight-knit type situation, no matter how big we get, you know, like if we do get big, I still want to try as close as possible to keep things tight knit, no matter how big we get, you know, is what I'm hoping for. And yeah, I am though. I'm super happy with where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that I'm able to attain the same, because having this personal connection with everybody that passes through is just super amazing.
It makes it absolutely worth it. 100%. 100%. I always look forward to getting to actually come and hang out and talk and hear about everyone's day and how they're doing. And I love it.
Absolutely. And then let me give you your Sean Evans shout out, sign off. Here are all your cameras. Say, you know, plug what you want to plug. Say everything you got. I'll have Zeltos fill in the blanks on the side, and I'll get you back to your life at night. So
oh, no worries. No worries.
Go ahead.
Okay. I probably should see. This is one thing that I probably should have actually planned out, was the plug part, because I tend to forget. And like the last interview I did, I actually got my plugs wrong, and I was like, of course, that's on brand. That's brand. Well, I guess, I do have the merch. Oh gosh. It's merch.streamelements.com/PixelKittenVT. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's going to grow, but what we have there is pretty awesome. I'm really excited about it. I'm trying to remember my YouTube stuff here. Oh gosh, I think it's also PixelKittenVT. Unfortunately, they're all a little different. They're all like a little different. I'm also on Rumble. I'm streaming on Rumble as well now. Give me a second. I really should have written this down.
That's okay. Hey, listen, it's I do the same where you're like, oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I really should have written this down. Okay, so on Rumble it's Pixel Kittens with the Z at the end. So that's how you find me on Rumble. Obviously on Twitch here, it's PixelKittenVT. Get that right because there are several Pixel Kittens. So there's only one of me, the only one of me. You can get updates of when I go live and my schedule and whatnot, obviously on my Discord, but also on Twitter. And that's my main one is Twitter. I also do Truth Social, and on Twitter it's PixelKittenVT as well. But yeah, I'm trying to, gosh, why can't I remember my YouTube? Oh my goodness, I feel so silly. Here, let me see. I have a lot of my stuff open, so that's helpful. Oh, it's also PixelKittenVT. Perfect. Okay, because I remember there was a time when it was all sort of different. So it looks like we did get a lot of it very similar. So PixelKittenVT, you can usually find me. But yeah, so that's pretty much, that's me. I mean, I guess I could also plug my sponsor.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sponsored through Epic Water Filters. They basically do sustainable, eco-friendly water bottles and water filters, and they do all sorts of stuff. Like they have hookups for your house, for your refrigerator. They have pitchers. They have water dispensers. They also have the water bottles. They have everyday filters where you can fill them up at any sink, but they also have survival ones where you can literally go outside and fill them from like a rain puddle and the water will be safe to drink. Yeah, Epic Water Filters. And there's a coupon code Pixel20 with a capital P, Pixel20, and you get 20% off of whatever you put in your shopping cart. But yeah, they're awesome. I have a bottle. Thor's got a bottle, and one of our friends, Ezekiel, has a bottle. They're amazing. Love them. And their main goal is to try to minimize plastic waste. And so I really think it's a really good company to support. And yeah, so that's I think that's pretty much everything I could think of off the top of my head. Absolutely
wonderful. I'll make sure I reach out to Epic Water Filters to get my portion of the sales too. And
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was actually no. Like seriously, it was actually really easy. It was really easy. So hey, check into it. I mean, check into it. Why not?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they're actually very easy to work with. They really are. They also do free returns or exchanges and whatnot. And they have like a lifetime guarantee, and so absolutely, definitely look into them. They're great people. They've literally picked me up for like I had them initially. They reached out to me initially, and then they took me back on again once the first one expired. So they're good people.
All right. So. And we got all of our plugs out. I'm happy for it. I've been bad about having a proper plug at the end, so I'm glad. I think we hit it.
Oh,
Nailed it.
I don't even feel bad. I don't really have an official sign off really. So
it's tough to get that right.
Yeah. I don't really have a sign on. I don't really have a sign off. I just kind of go with it, whatever feels good.
Whatever in the moment. So
exactly.
I know what you mean.
But that's where it gets me, because I'm like, oh wait, if I actually have a plug that I'm trying to plug, I should probably have it written down somewhere.
Well,
probably.
Everybody, let's give it. I'm going to be the actual applause here, but everybody give your own in-house applause to our guest, Pixel Kitten. We are forever thankful that you were able to stop by. I had a wonderful time with you.
Me.
Absolutely,
so
it has been a blast.
It's been such an honor and a pleasure. Oh my gosh, I love this.
Absolutely, I always enjoy this, and I'm super duper thankful. I couldn't imagine a better episode every time it happens. So thank you so much again.
Great.
I'm going to send you to that blasted general chat. I'm going to banish you, but it has been a pleasure having you.
I've been banished. Oh no.
So have a wonderful night, and we will be in contact.
Of course, and you as well. Have a great night. Thank you so much again. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Bye.
All right, bye.
And there you have it. That is episode... Hold on, let me center myself. No, I don't have legs. And Tony Soprano's in front of me. No, I don't want to inspect the elements of Tony Soprano and the Fall Guys. Oh my, what a nightmare. Subscribed with Prime, Thor, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my alerts are all off. I try to keep my study silent in my times of need, but thank you. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute blast. I feel like I kind of got to interview you and some of us, you know, through Pixel. We had you on board as well. Look at that nice little sub badge that you got from me. Nice little fella there. It has been a blast to have you all. Like I said, the Foxhole is a dream that I didn't think would come true. And through the help of, you know, Zeltos, of course, and all of our guests, and you again. There's the credits roll, and you. Thank you. There it is. So, thank you all. I'm going to. I already had my my rate up. I don't know how much longer Pixel may go, but I will pass the love on. Have your minion reach out in the future. We already talked about. You got it, Thor. I'll stick Zeltos on you. All right, let's get it going. Huh? Let's get it going. I'm gonna send you over to previous guest Falcon, who's playing some Final Fantasy. And I'm gonna be double streaming our guest Pixel and Fel. I hope you all can join in on sharing the love. I am in love with all of you for being a part of this ride, and I will see you very soon. Tomorrow even. Can you believe that? Tomorrow? That's crazy. Who's a guy? Who can you trust to be here tomorrow? That's me, baby. All right. You guys have fun. Behave yourself. I'll see you soon.